The Tobago House of Assembly Secretary of Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and the Environment have told workers to do the jobs they're being paid for or they will be held accountable. Kwesi Des Vignes, while addressing the audience at the Mason Hall Community Centre on Tuesday night, said even as the THA tries to maintain employment levels, productivity must be beefed up. Patricia Nicholson has the details.
Secretary Kwesi Des Vignes said unproductive workers, including managers and supervisors under his division, will be held accountable. Mr. Des Vignes said he has observed workers, specifically those who work early morning jobs, doing as they please.
And we also have to be honest there, because the collective bargaining agreement speaks to people working on roads, the morning walk. People may start to work at 5 a.m., but the hours of work start at 7. At 4 a.m. I was driving on the road yesterday morning. Yes, I do that as well. And people are already starting to cut the road by 4:15. Who is their supervisor?
He said he's been informed of shoddy work and sometimes no work at all being done in areas where workers were assigned. He attempted to show up at one work site.
I spoke to the district supervisor. I said, 5 a.m. on Monday morning, we are going down there. Get all the foremen and we're going. I wasn't able to go at 5 o'clock on that Monday morning, but I got a message that day. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. It's the first time I saw the supervisor in the area. The drain is now clean. And that is how people are working. And the Bible spoke about eyewitnesses. It's as if they are waiting to hear that the secretary come in, and then they walk in.
Mr. Des Vignes said the division is trying its best not to send workers home, even though its allocation has been cut.
The first set of advice I got when I came into the division is, boss, we have to send home those workers. Let's cut the workers in development DP, let's cut the workers in URP, because that's dead weight. When I spoke to the chief secretary, he ignored me a couple of times because he was not willing to tolerate a conversation of that nature. Because you're looking at people who are earning $3,000 to $5,000 per month, or probably up to $7,000. And that's the first set of people we want to send home. That can't be fair.
He said what's also unfair were workers not doing what they're being paid to do. Secretary Des Vignes urged his employees to give a fair day's work for a fair day's pay. I'm Patricia Nicholson for C News.
Meanwhile, Secretary Des Vignes said he's working to ensure that employees within his division are working in a safe and comfortable environment in an effort to ensure maximum productivity in his division.
Because some of the working conditions weren't right, and I agreed, actually. And it's something that I observed because Mr. Cunningham and I met with every single unit, every single worker of the division. And we realized the working conditions were not right. And what we have been doing right now is workspace renewal.
In addition, Secretary Des Vignes said efforts were being made to ensure the issue of untimely payments was addressed.
We've introduced or reintroduced a warrant tracking system, a more robust warrant tracking system to see what the fall downs are. I mean, recently we had a bad experience with the bank where the bank delivered checks late and workers were paid late. And it's okay, the secretary will get blamed, but it's all right. We got the checks late from the bank, but people have been paid now. And we are doing all of these things to ensure that if you don't get paid yet, check the bank in the morning or 12 o'clock tonight. We are doing all of these things to ensure that the workers can deliver.
Secretary Des Vignes was speaking at the Chief Secretary's one-on-one meeting held in Mason Hall on Tuesday night. With $30 million spent on publications to market Tobago's tourism in 2017, MP for Naparima Rodney Charles questioned whether television advertisements were being shown in different countries promoting the island. He wanted to know which countries were being targeted. His questions came during examination of the Tobago House of Assembly's budget at today's Standing Finance Committee meeting.
Yes. Yes.
Could you indicate on which television stations abroad?
We will provide you with a list. I'm being told here they have television programs in United Kingdom. They use billboards. They use all forms of advertising.
MP for Kumuto Manzanilla, Christine Nawala Hossain, sought to find out from the minister the effectiveness of the media publications.
In terms of, okay, when persons come in, you will be able to say that they read this or they got this information off of a television, so you're able to see whether the the publications and the material that you're using is in fact impacting?
To do that sort of research would require some expenditure. You'd have to hire an agency. But I would say that every dollar spent on promoting Tobago is a dollar well spent.
And now that the THA has been given the go-ahead to borrow on its own, MP for Tabakit Dr. Suraj Rambachan questioned whether the central government would still be liable for the payments by loans borrowed by the Assembly.
It will be dealt with on a case-by-case basis. In some cases, the House Assembly has indicated it would have the ability to service the debt itself. In other cases, they might come to the central government and we make a decision with respect to whether we would provide the funding for debt servicing, as the case may be. That is simply an opportunity for them to get their projects moving, to allow them to approach the market. They have a credit rating of their own. The Assembly went out on its own and got an international credit rating, which now allows them to borrow.